Yeah.
Richard Boyd Barrett.
Where would we get the money if we didn't have these investors to build the houses that we need? Well, the credit unions have said repeatedly that the money that they have, which are savings as well, savings of people, but in a not-for-profit institution, where they actually have the interests of our community and the social objectives of housing people at heart, there's one source of money. And I refer to what we discussed earlier on about the household wealth in this country, that of the €936 billion net household wealth, more than 400 billion of that is financial assets, the savings of people here. Where is that money? It's in the banks. Okay? The banks we bailed out. So there are lots of savings here. You know, one of the things the credit unions informed me, I didn't even know that, is that they can't make, but they want to make decisions about what they put their money into, but they actually often have to put the money in with commercial banks who may invest it in all sorts of things that they have no interest in. And they'd like to actually be able to invest it in building social housing for the people in their community, at affordable levels. So there is money to build houses. If we bring these people in, their concern is how much money they can make, and they will only build if they can make a lot of money for themselves. And that means charging high rents and charging high property prices and trying to minimise the tax that they pay, and the government facilitate that. So it hasn't worked, and there are alternatives. I reject the Minister's suggestion that there aren't alternatives. Okay, well, the implication that we couldn't do it without them. When this country was a third world country, effectively, we were able to build public housing. It can be done, and it should be done.
Thank you.
We're building public houses, and actually the most dangerous concept in politics is that there is no alternative. I'd never suggest that. But we are building public housing. We are building social housing. That is happening. It's happening at scale. I was with the Taoiseach earlier on today down in Mary's Mansions in Sean McDermott Street. Saw a wonderful project delivered by Dublin City Council and Clwyd. Look at what's happening in Dominic Street at the moment. Look at that Dublin City Council, brilliant accommodation. Brilliant, wonderful accommodation. Sean Foster House in my own constituency. Apartments being built by the City Council. What we are doing, funded by an economy that is recovering, those homes are being built, Deputy Boyd Barrett. And Deputy Doherty, in the description that he made of Iris there, which I accept that you were right on. But the next part of it all then is when the income is distributed from the IRF, it's taxed at that point. That's where the taxation occurs. That's where it happens, Deputy Doherty. And if you're going to be making the case about the role of IRIS, which you are, I think you have to acknowledge where the tax happens. The tax happens if you're an Irish resident investor, it's at 41%. That's the extra tax you're charged on the IRF. And then if you're a non-resident investor, you're subject to a 20% withholding tax payment when the income is distributed. That is what has happened. And I'm just so struck, you used it a few times here in the debate about me attacking Sinn Féin. Deputy, don't think you're going to come here and put forward the case for change and not have your arguments tested. You test me and my record as you're entitled to do. To allow the case for change to be made and not scrutinise that case and not challenge you on that case with the vigour with which you test me. That's what both of us are here to do.